Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hank Russell Invitation on this wonderful Friday night. Tonight's guest, I've been talking to this guy on and off for about 3 years or so. Man, he's got a very cool story, inspiration, kind of you know, a lot of triumph, overcoming. And we're just going to chop it up as a conversation, but we're going to get around to what it is that what he has done in his life that has really, truly inspired a lot of people. So, here he is, my main man, Mr. Justin Dobbins. Hey, brother.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
We are good, man. We are good. We're just, man, nothing to it. We're here. We're here. We've been talking about this for a while, too.
Yep.
I know that, like, in 2020, during the middle of the pandemic, when I talked to you, you were gracious enough to talk to me. And then I think I wrote you, I can't remember the last time I wrote you, but mentioning this, but I was like, I got to get Justin Dobbins on here. Got to get him on here.
Yeah.
So, what you been up to? Well, actually, I know what you've been up to. Can we address the elephant in the room really quick?
What's that?
The hernia.
Oh, yeah. Trying to get it fixed.
Yeah. So I know that you're okay. So obviously, for those that are listening right now, the thing about it is that this man has dropped a tremendous amount of weight. In what was it? You said 600, and you said what was it? 695 days. You dropped 401 pounds.
Yes, sir. Yep. I started the beginning of 2019, January 2nd, 2019, and then by December 18th of 2020, I was done.
Okay. And so my thing is that what was I going to say? I'm reading the comments at the same time while I'm talking to you, as you can see. But
Yep.
so what? All right. So let's talk about the hernia real quick. So is the hernia as a result of the weight loss, or just like a weaker constitution?
We're not real sure. I don't know what happened. If it was going to be from heavy lifting or any of that kind of stuff, you think it would have happened last year. But right now, the most we can figure is, so I have an inguinal hernia on my left side, and the tear is right in my abdominal wall, right above where that big tendon connects your leg to your abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I've got about 40 to 50 pounds of loose skin after the weight loss. Because, when you get out so big, that skin stretches, it tears, it heals, there's scar tissue behind it, it thickens up. So where that loose skin attaches to my abdomen, if you grab my lower belly flap and pull up, you can actually pull the hernia side. So the hernia is right where all that loose skin attaches to that part of my abdomen. So it's constantly pulling and stuff. And I've been told about compression shirts, but the problem is, like, this is one of those situations where my loose skin and my body problem is unique. That's what I keep hearing, is it's unique. And I've been mechanical and working on cars and welding and stuff for 25, 30 years now. And in my field, unique means it's hard to work on. It's hard to find parts, and you can't find anybody to do the work. And if you do, it's expensive.
Right. Well, I mean, didn't you mention didn't you mention like a year ago you were trying to have a peduncular surgery?
Paniculectomy.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Where you remove the skin?
I've looked into skin removal. Probably, I've talked to about 9 or 10 different surgeons since 2020.
Okay.
The first one wasn't a good experience because I wasn't quite done losing my weight yet. But a lot of the doctors and stuff that I've talked to, when they see me, it's like a blank face, because my case isn't normal. Like I keep hearing it's not normal. The way I lost the weight's not normal. And I finally did in January this year. I sat down with the surgeon that really talked to me and was really, really insightful, answered questions for like an hour and a half, explained that, my case is huge. When they start on the work, I'll have as many stitches in just the lower as most people have on their arms, their chest, their lower, and their thighs.
Mm-hmm.
So just my belly section, I'll have that many stitches. So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of skin to cover.
You know, yeah, I had double abdomen surgery, hernia surgery back in March of 2012, I believe it was, and that was a bitch. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine, going like what you're as far as like the loose skin. Then you have this hernias that just pops out of nowhere, and
Yep.
all of a sudden, I mean, are they going to try to kill two birds with one stone when you have the surgery?
Well, that's what my general MD wants. My
Okay,
Doc Eaton has been ride or die since 2019, and
right.
he knows that the loose skin is an issue at this point. He's turned it in.
Mm-hmm.
And we had made an appointment with the place that we're like, yeah, we can take care of the hernia and the loose skin until I got in the office and they saw the job. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was a lot of backpedaling. And, at that point it's frustrating because you wait 6-7 weeks to go into the office and get that,
Yeah.
that denial. But, I'd rather it happen like that than get in there with somebody that's going to mess it up. Cause it's going to be a huge deal. Like
Right.
it's just not like a nip tuck deal. It's a major surgery. So I'd rather somebody confident.
Well, I know I don't get did you ever listen to hip hop growing up?
Yep.
Okay, well, Kanye West, his mom died under the knife with from having that mommy surgery or whatever, like the Brazilian butt lift and the
Oh,
and then the tummy tuck, and then DC Young Flies. I don't know if that's his wife or baby mama or whatever, mother of his children, but she just passed away like a month ago from the same type of thing. So, but I think that I think you're going to be fine because you're in relatively good shape now, are you not?
oh yeah. No, I haven't, I mean, just because I fit into the weight loss, I still work out every day. Even with the hernia, I've got online and
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of the sports medicine places that have, exercises and stretches and stuff that you can still continue to do. I'm able to do light walking. I've got yoga routines that work around the hernia.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm still working out and I'm still maintaining my weight right around 340. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, yeah. So shape wise, yeah. And when I was talking to that doctor back in January, he said that I feel kind of good about it because he told me that, in the world of weight loss, somebody that loses 200 or 300 pounds with gastric bypass and then gets in shape, works out, is ready for surgery is kind of a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody that does it like I did, it just doesn't happen. Um, and so, yeah, my body's in great shape. I'm able to work out. I mean, right now with this hernia the way it is, it's gotten worse. There's some nerve pain involved. So I feel sickly and I'm probably not, but I'm also not bedridden. But
Right. I know
once
when.
this gets fixed, I'll be back to moving.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember we were talking on the phone in private that you were mentioning that you weren't even 100% sure when the surgery was going to be. It was supposed to be sometime this week, wasn't it?
That was with the surgeon that we waited 7 weeks to get the bad, have him backpedal at the last moment and say we can't do the skin removal. And the problem, and I know it's both big surgeries, but like I said, our biggest concern, my doc's biggest concern, and my biggest concern is if they fix that hernia spot, but they leave this 20 pounds of skin constantly hanging, how is that supposed to heal, or what's going to keep that from ripping back out and being worse? I
Yeah.
mean, because it's
I mean, it's not. It's a big deal, but it's not. Like, is it as long as you can meticulously and methodically plan this out, then you will be successful. Because you said you got 40 pounds of loose skin, man. That's going to put you like at the 300 mark. You know,
right at, yeah.
and
Yep.
but if I recall, 2 years ago you were at the 298-pound mark. What were you not?
Yep. I ended up at 297 and in December 2020, and I held there until I held right around that 297 to that 305 mark
Mm-hmm.
until May of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and saw Doc right around that time. I think it was May or June,
Mm.
and I was having a lot of anger issues, and I wasn't good. And we determined that I needed to put on about 50 pounds because I was malnourished. And I was also diagnosed with a couple of different, mental disorders because of the rapid weight loss. So
I've got somebody sent in a question, Justin. Let's answer.
Absolutely. That. Okay.
Have you asked to see if it's easier to get your hernia first, then have skin surgery later? Can they do I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Laparoscopically.
Laparoscopically. Let's put that comment back on. I'm late to the party. I didn't hear where it is located. So do you have an answer for her for that one?
I mean, the last guy we saw, he wasn't sure if he'd have to open me up or do it laparoscopically.
Yeah.
But like I said, the problem with doing it is where it's located. Right down here where the hernia is directly where all of this loose skin attaches. So all of this attaches right there to that spot of my abdomen. So if you pull on that skin, you can pull the hernia on my abdomen out. So it's an anchor point for that whole side.
And I need to point out for those listening that, this man is, what are you, 6'7"?
Yep.
6'7". So 6'7", under 300 pounds, that's impressive. That's like, without the peduncular, I keep wanting to call it peduncular surgery, but the thing about it is, go ahead.
I was told the paniculectomy at this point with as much loose skin and like tissue, because like right up here, a lot of times I feel like I've still got like a fat bubble here that I need to lose. Well, this little paunch right here is actually loose skin that's about, that thick, just because it's curtained itself back in and stacked up. So if you like pull it apart, it thins out and it's insane.
I'm trying not to laugh. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's hilarious. It's seriously like wearing a 40-pound rucksack on your front every day. And so.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. I just got a question via text.
What you got?
She says she's seen you before, or it sounds like she's seen you before. He just said, didn't he kill himself? That's
no.
very odd. I can we get into that real quick about like your journey? Can we get into that about your journey going towards the final straw, the rock bottom, all that?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what set it off back in 2018.
Right. So go ahead.
Yeah, 2018, I was like my 40th birthday in September. I feel like that's probably the worst shape I was in, the most embarrassed I ever was. I was actually the mayor of my small town here in Alba, Missouri, and I'd gone to a convention in in Branson, and I was wearing the biggest size shirts I'd ever worn. It was a custom-made 7XLT polo shirt that I had made by TexasApparel.com. Shout out to those people. Man, they kept my big butt in shirts. You call down there and custom order a T-shirt or a thing. When you're that big, they fit right.
Yeah.
But sorry about that little interview. But man, for 15 years when I was 500 plus, I could order shirts from them and they fit. But at that convention, I could walk about 20 yards and I'd have to stop. And I don't know how heavy I was. I hurt. And it just got worse. I was binge drinking on the weekends and through the end of 2018. And about mid-December 2018, I was actually sitting out here in the shop. I had my pistol and I was home for about 3 hours by myself. I sat out here in the dark, pitch black, and, pulled the slack off the trigger 3 or 4 times, and just got to thinking about my wife and kids, and I didn't want them to come home and find that. And I knew that I needed to be here for them. So that's when my wife had said something about keto, 1st of December, because every January for the last 15 years, we're doing this in January. We're going to lose this weight. And so I looked at the keto, and I started planning right then, and nobody knew I was planning until, after the holidays, when I finally told her that it was like, we're going to do this diet.
You know, I'm surprised that you stuck with it after doing it in January. Isn't that like bad luck to start a New Year's resolution? I mean,
Well, we started untraditionally. She had a work trip that she was taking to Vegas like mid January, and I told her, I was like, let me study this diet a little bit more. You go to Vegas and you enjoy your time, and when you get back, we'll start. And that's why it was the 22nd. January 22nd is that's I had my last bite of sugar that I've eaten since on the 20th, January 20th. I haven't had sugar since.
and that was early 19.
Yeah, that was January 20th, 2019.
So, yeah, and I know you were talking about that kind of your go-to is like the Bang energy drink. Like, was it cotton candy flavored or something like that?
Oh no, Miami Cola, dude.
Miami Cola. What is a Miami Cola?
I don't know, man. It tasted a lot like flat Coca Cola, and somebody said Miami Cola is supposed to be like a Cola Libre, which is like a light cola with a little bit of lime in it.
Right.
And then when they said that, I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But I just like it because it tasted like Coke to me, like Coca Cola. And
See, and we couldn't be further on the opposites of the spectrum. Like I like the taste of diet drinks,
uh,
and of course, I need to lose a lot myself. But the funny thing is that people always ask me, why do you drink Diet Coke and Diet Sprite? And I'm like, because I can have full flavored cake.
oh yeah, without the guilt.
Exactly, which I'm sure that's a bullshit philosophy. But I'm, but that's no, that's
Oh
not exactly. That's not the way to go. Everybody at the house, don't listen to
well,
me.
my first month, I ate nothing but green vegetables, meat, and water. Period for the first 30 days.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned 18. I remember in 17 in August, I had dropped like 90 pounds in what 3 months or something like that. And I remember I didn't eat dirty at all for the first 10 weeks. I'd say I didn't eat dirty at all. Like I'm talking like I didn't even cheat once in the first 10 weeks, but and it drove me nuts. Like I don't think I'd ever lost so many friends or pissed off so many people in that first 10 weeks or even that first 3 months altogether.
Yeah.
But then in 18, I'd put a little bit of it back on and then I dropped another 60. And now I've got my so-called COVID weight, which you and I met 3 months after the COVID. So just that excuse needs to go out the window for me. But it's like I'm just saying, man. It's I want to. I mean, I want to blame it on somebody, but at the same time, like I get really irritable very easily, especially. And I thought it was going to get easier. It got easier on the eating side of it. Like I bet you don't even crave a cookie now, do you?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I see him from time to time, but it's one of those I don't know 3 second temptations, if that. I mean, it's just kind of like in and gone, and I just I don't think about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I remember when I was the second time in 2018 when I was cutting weight. I remember I would do the whole chew the cookie and then spit it out in the garbage can type thing, and and,
Gotcha.
and one of my friends caught me and says, "Oh my goodness, are you anorexic?" I'm like, um, you know,
I mean,
do I look anorexic? I mean, I pretty much beat the shit out of anorexia. Okay, it's not.
it
I mean, I made anorexia my woman. I mean, it's just no,
wasn't
not
a concern.
no, exactly. I mean, believe me, and you know what the hardest part about weight loss is that I've gotten very touchy with people about this in the past is that I hate getting advice from people because everybody's a critic and everybody wants to give advice. I
Yeah,
I mean, did that not bother you in the past? Like when you would have like everybody would want to give their 2 cents in, and no matter how often you tell them, you kind of politely tell, no, it's okay, I don't want to hear that. They think their idea is going to be better than yours, or their idea is going to be better than the previous 20 people that talked to you.
I I was pretty quiet about it.
Mhm.
I didn't post anything really on social media that whole first part of 2019. And honestly, the first 9 months of 2019, I did nothing but focus on my nutrition. I didn't work out. I naturally wanted to move more as the weight came off, but until September 2019, I didn't work out. I didn't have a formal workout plan. I just was focusing on my food.
Yes.
Because I knew that that was my biggest demon. I was a food addict, like straight up, no ifs, ands, or buts, food addict. And you don't. I knew I wouldn't be successful unless I got that under control. And like I said, we started out keto after my first 30 days. Because like I said, meat and green vegetables for the first 30, and then after that we went keto. But I hated oh, well, we better eat this fat. We better add this oil. You better add this. And I was just like, I'm going to go back to meat, low carb vegetables, water. And I didn't introduce the Bang energy drinks till I think April of 2020, because it was Easter and I was having jelly bean cravings, sour jelly bean cravings. And a buddy of mine went, "Hey, have you seen these Bangs?" And he goes, "They got one that's called Sour Heads."
Oh,
and it
wow.
tasted like Sour Patch Kids, but zero. So I would sip on about half of one and stick it in the fridge back then, and then it'd get my cravings out of the way.
If Bang Energy is listening to this man needs a high dollar sponsorship, okay? Because y'all don't say you done saved his sanity, and if you won't give it to him, at least give it to me, and then I'll give part of my proceeds to him.
Yeah, man. You know what? I actually reached out to him in the end of 2019 and said, "Hey, I've been drinking these things and buying them by the case. If you'll just put a little fridge in my shop and keep it full, we can work something out."
Yeah. I mean, I love it. And and going back to the advice from other people, I just get so many things. They're like, drink a lot of water. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh yeah, we got kind of sidetracked there. So I didn't really post much about my food and stuff, and everybody around me was supportive because I was actually excited about a diet and was losing weight.
Right.
So I didn't have a whole lot of detractors. And then when I did start posting online, a lot, I'd lost 175 pounds at that point. And so anybody that's tried to give me nutritional advice since then, it's just been I'm good. I'm not rude. I'm not hateful, but I know what I did to beat my food addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lifestyle change that I made and determined in those 9 months before I started working out that I can live with this.
Right.
I can do this. And how are you going to argue and give advice to somebody that lost 175 pounds in 9 months? It's
right. Well, there's just always the little things that you've heard a million times, put lemon in your water. Drink more water. You know what I'm saying? I love when people do the water thing. You got to drink more water. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. And then it's like, well, water makes you less hungry. I'm like, no, it just makes me less thirsty.
And less happy when you're hungry.
Exactly. No, I mean, it's you they mean well,
mm-hmm.
but you just don't want to hear it sometimes. You want to be around people that are just, I don't know. Here's my opinion. I think sometimes you have to hit a bottom like you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to hit a bottom, and you have to not be irritated by what other people say, because what's the cardinal rule? If somebody tells you to do something, not to do something, it's just going to make you want to do it that much more.
Yeah.
I could not be more right about that. You got to quit doing stuff. Let people be their own man or woman in this case. Yep. And it's ridiculous what people will say as far as okay, you admire their kindness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I mean,
when it comes to weight loss and when it comes to getting in shape, each individual person
mm-hmm.
is going to have that reason why. They're going to have to figure out how they can eat and still live and be happy and not be miserable. And then they're going to have to find an activity that they enjoy doing that's physical. And that's plain and simple. Because when people call and ask me for diet advice and nutrition advice, my first thing is you need to do some research and you need to pick a plan you can stick with.
Oh yeah.
That's number one advice, because
mm-hmm.
if you want this to last, you got to pick something to go, from now on,
Yeah.
because there's no going back. Like how many years? Like from the time I was 22 till 40, every January we're going to lose weight. We're eating salads, we're eating fruit, and then by, like you said, 10 weeks in, you're like, I'm going to have a bottle. I'm going to have a 20-ounce Coke and a burrito from the gas station, and it's going to be just fine because. And then next thing you know, you're horking down pizza and cookies and everything else, and it was like that for 18 years until finally I hit rock bottom. It clicked, and I went, I'm going to eat like this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me read a couple of these comments real quick. First of all, let me give a shout out to my dear friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen, from Windemic streaming on Facebook, Mr. Michael Dwayne. Michael, what's up, brother? I see you out there. Yes, thank you. He's from your neck of the woods, actually. He's from Missouri as well, Justin.
Oh, is he? Cool.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out what city he's in. I forgot what city he's from, and then of course, okay, now this lady right here has been tremendous help in my life in many aspects of my life, more than one way or another. I did get touchy with her one time about the weight thing. She was one of the ones that was giving advice about me, and Denise, I want to say I'm sorry. It was about a year or two. It was about a year and a half ago or so, but I always have to apologize for things like that because it's like that is a touchy subject.
I think in this society, I think a lot of folks want to help, and the problem about it is like most people that are heavy, it seems like from the time they're 25 till they're in their 40s and stuff, they know why they're there.
She has helped out a tremendous amount of women, especially. That woman knows. That woman has helped. I don't know if I'm gonna do it right now because I'm still just getting things off and running. But I'm gonna maybe try to convince her not to talk about like her experience with her life, and then her helping out women and stuff like that. So, absolutely. Is this a friend of yours, by the way? Sorry, sir. Do you know him?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Jake. He's my number one non-family fan. That's his title. Mr. Jake's been following me from the very beginning.
Well, there you go. Well, Jacob Order, appreciate you swinging by, man. That's interesting. Because, by the way, do you drink?
No, I don't.
Really? Did you ever?
Oh yeah. It was a problem the last 4 or 5 years before I decided to start losing weight. And it's not that I can't. It's just that I don't. I mean, it's not my cup of tea anymore.
I get it. I mean,
there's something else in Missouri that's recreational now that.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, if I didn't have a job, I'd be, believe me. No, I mean, you got guys getting busted for CBD. I'm like, come on, man. This is the wrong decade, man. We at least let people have the CBD.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm telling you, man. It's helped a lot of people out with the pain. That's for sure. But.
Well, I've had my medical card here in Missouri for this will be my 3rd year. And I found a strain that works great for me that helps keep my PTSD and anxiety in order, where I don't have to be on 5 or 6 pharmaceuticals. I've done all the high powered drugs before through the doctors about 5-6 years ago, and comatose. And I have actually taken a green lab. So I have actually taken my medicine in front of police officers and have been tested by 6 different officers in the room, and they all argued that I hadn't consumed. And they said I'm one of the few people they've seen that actually has it figured out for a medicinal load and that's not abusing it.
Man, I remember when I had my back surgery, I had back surgery and hernia surgery. They gave me like all kinds of good stuff, but I can't take it, man. It blocks me up. I can't go to the bathroom. Yep. I mean, okay. I found out one thing about Vicodin. Vicodin doesn't get rid of your pain. It just makes you forget you got it.
Yep, pretty much.
That's all it did. Like I took it for the back, and then I said, and then I was like, okay, I need to just live with the pain because I'm gonna get hooked on this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, when I had a kidney stone in 2018, have you ever had a kidney stone?
I have not.
I hope you don't. I don't wish that on my. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish that on Kim Jong Un. Okay, I mean
Yeah.
that is a nightmare. And they put me on Percocet for 3 days because all right, I had the kidney stone on a Saturday, and I had the kidney stone removed surgically on a Wednesday, so that's 3 days that I'm on Percocets.
Yeah.
So you're talking 3 days of taking Percocets 3 or 4 times a day as needed. When I got off of them, I was suicidal after the surgery.
Yep. Shaky, vomiting.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, my mind was giving me wrong information, that sort of thing. And that withdrawal happened for almost as long as I was on, like 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
Keep in mind, 3 days I only took these Percocets.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to judge people when they get hooked on this stuff and then they try to get off of it.
No, huh? I had shingles back, I don't know, 2016, 2017, something like that. And they gave me tramadol for it, which is like not really a narcotic, but it's kind of right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me like 120 of them at a time. And I was like, is this normal? And they're like, well, you can take up to 4 if you need to, because they're like low dose or something. And I'm like, you want to talk about being hooked on something, like, and you're taking it for shingles and stuff, and you're like, okay, and then that bottle's empty, and it's just like, man, and yeah, you go through absolute withdrawals, and it's not even supposed to be back when I had it, it wasn't even supposed to be a narcotic, but it was horrible to come off of.
No, but that just lets you know. I told you I hate drugs. That just shows you how bad the kidney stone is.
Yeah.
Now, people that do it recreationally, if you're listening out there, don't even take it recreationally. just stick with the legal weed, or have about 3 or 4 shots of tequila and you get the same effect as weed without having to fail a drug test. And then you won't.
Yep.
So, yeah. See, by the way, I'm already I think I'm in a slight trouble. I only give advice if asked. She's right. Yep, she is. But yeah, no, it's insane. Like just the drugs, the narcotics, all that stuff. It's dominating our country right now.
Yeah, it's another pill to fix a problem. That was one of the interactions I had in 2019 with an office that I went to. Was trying to get established with a doctor. I'd already lost 35, 40-ish pounds, and I went to a doctor's office and told him what I was doing and how I wanted to do it, and said, I'm on a lot of medications that I'm hoping to work my way off of, and I know a lot of these medications can make me sick. I was on a lot of asthma medications, blood pressure pills, like 14 different medications, 13 different medications a day. And I know as I lose this weight, I'll need to be taken off of these. And they're like, man. And then I was given some weight loss drugs or pills before I left to help me along. And I was like, no. And then and I talked to several doctors in 2019 trying to get established. And that's when I went and called Northeastern Tribal in Miami, Oklahoma, because I'm a tribal member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, and got set up there with Dr. Eaton and told him what I wanted to do. And he admitted to me later, a couple of appointments later, he said, when you came in and told me how you wanted to lose weight, I didn't believe you. But then, I went in every few months and got weighed and checked in and my stuff. And I made him a believer within a few months. So.
Okay. No, I believe you. It's not something I've ever studied. I know nothing about it. I mean, the less I know, the worse when it comes to stuff like that. And that's the biggest problem. A lot of it's ignorance. You just don't know. Oh, I think he's got I got my boy Shogo. He said, have you either tried the weight loss drugs or go juice or so-called fat burner drugs? Did you ever try any of that stuff?
Yeah, when I went to the gym, I think back in 2015, a friend of mine had a business and we got set up as distributors for health stuff. and we were getting like BSN, like NO Explode, like the pre workout stuff and all the after workout and all that, the fat shred and the creatine blast. We were ordering all that in, and we were drinking all that stuff and going to the Y and working out. And there's no quick way.
No.
There's no quick way to do it.
No. By the way, can I change gears to this?
Yeah.
Okay. For those of y'all that saw the title, this man, all right, so I've misrepresented you a little bit is in the title, but that's just what I'm doing. I don't know if it's, but so when you were losing the weight, you started the DDP Yoga program, and but we're talking about the exercise only, not the eating part.
Right. Yeah. When I as I was progressing through 2019, I wanted to start working out, and my doc was like, let's wait a little bit. He wanted me to get more pressure and more weight off before I started a workout.
Right.
And so we were going through it, and I talked to some friends about CrossFit, and of course, a lot of people wanted me to do CrossFit, and a buddy of mine does jujitsu, and he tried to talk me into that. And finally, in September, I had my last. So I'd had like 9 or 10 different cellulitis infections in both legs. And I had my last cellulitis infection in my right leg in August of 2019, and was laid up for a few weeks. And then I was ready to work out. And like 4 years before, my mother-in-law had bought me the YRG DVDs. And it was Yoga for Regular Guys by Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
And it was just 4 DVDs, and it was yoga mixed with calisthenics, old school calisthenics and dynamic resistance.
Right.
And so that first day, like September 16th, 2019 was my first workout. And like I said, I'd lost 170 pounds up to that point, just getting my food under control.
Right.
And did that first 20-minute workout, and it took me an hour because it's you get down on the floor a little bit, you get up. I didn't know there was a chair program at this point. I was just putting the DVDs in and making it work. And within the first month, I was able to do stuff that I couldn't do before. Started challenging people online to workouts. And then in December 2019, I'd lost right around 240 pounds. And I get this strange phone call, and it's Diamond Dallas Page calling to congratulate me. He'd seen my story on Instagram.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, Diamond Dallas Page creating the DDP Yoga program, man. I tried it in 2016 and 17, and unfortunately, my space has been really tight over the years. And I know that DDP Yoga is a great program to be able to like do it in such a smaller confined space. So that just lets you know how tight my space was at the time. As a matter of fact, my previous studio before my place burnt back in March, I had just made enough room to be able to do it. And then the sumbitch burned down. And I was like, and I could now, I mean, I could probably do some push-ups right behind me here and stuff like that, but I'm not knocking over my equipment. I mean, but
hey, some of my best workouts are outside in the driveway early morning.
I love it.
I mean, but hey, you know what the cool part about it is now?
What's that?
I'm not trying to be a salesperson or nothing, but they got this really cool app that's on your phone.
Talking about the DDP Yoga program?
DDP Yoga. There's an app now.
As a matter of fact, I might still have that bad boy on my phone as we speak.
So I mean, you pull up the app, the workout's on there, you put your earbuds in. There's not really any reason you can't. Yep, there it is.
Yep, I still got it. I've had it for years.
Yep.
And I'm not doing anything with it. It's only like $100 a year, but real quick, by the way, congratulations on your weight loss, Justin.
Thank you.
OMG, DDP, yeah.
Yep.
That DDP, bro, I'm a fan. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like Diamond Dallas Page, man. That's the type of guy that. Did you ever see the Jake the Snake Resurrection DVD where he lived with DDP for like years? Mm-hmm. Remember what they said? If I had needed a dead body buried, I'd call Dallas to be the one that would help me bury the body.
Yep.
I was like, dude, that just shows you, man. Like, did you ever get to meet him in person, by the way?
Oh yeah, yep. That's us at the Performance Center in 2020.
Is that the one in Atlanta?
Yep. And
Okay.
if you'll see it, he's actually wearing one of my shirts.
Oh, that's super cool, man.
And then we were after the workout. He called me up before I get my other shoe on, so that was loads of fun.
Yeah, that's funny.
Um, so that was he brought us down in 2020 at the end of it because I I'd entered. They have a contest every year that's a body transformation contest,
Okay.
and I entered in 2020 and then backed out because I'm very competitive. Like, and once I start competing, like friendships are over, and so I sort of withdrew from the contest, but didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and ended up losing enough weight that I was third runner up. So
Yeah.
ended up getting one of these bad boys from them.
Oh wow. Oh,
So
oh, I dig it. I dig it. I didn't know
and
that.
yep, they've got some other ones, but I think 2020 is their best because I love
Yes.
that thing. And then
The kind of monochromatic look.
got, of course, Dallas signed mine.
There you go.
And then down there for another little meeting, that's a Cody Rhodes signature there, my dude.
Cody Rhodes, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
I got that meeting, and then I got to meet Buff Bagwell too.
I know I've met Buff. I've met
Yep.
Buff. I met Buff in 2008, maybe. Maybe
I went
2000.
down.
Do it.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I met him before, but I never met Cody Rhodes or Diamond Dallas Page. So
I was a finalist in their program in 2020, and they brought me down, and they brought me down with Candy Rotten. You ought to check out her story on Instagram. That's pretty awesome.
I'll have to take a look at it.
And Caitlin Kay and my boy Scotty Boots was my co-champion. So we were in third place together. Candy was first place, grand champion, and then Caitlin was second place.
Man, I can't. That's so cool. Did you watch this past WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes main event?
Man, ever since the weight loss, it's hard for me to sit still and watch anything. I do good. Like when I'm going to sit still and watch something, I'll save that time up for my family so we can watch a movie together, or that kind of thing.
That's fair. That's fair because
so sitting through a 3 or 4 hour WrestleMania show, it's not going to work, man. If I was there live, yeah, I could watch it, but just sitting there on the couch, I can't. I got to be moving.
I get it. I mean, SummerSlam's tomorrow night, and I'm gonna watch it. But the thing about it is that I don't know. I'm like you. I can sit still depending on the content, but then again,
Yeah.
I'm not a married man with kids, so
Right.
I don't have a wifey kids yet. And it's insane. Go ahead.
The PTSD was one of those things that I wasn't really prepared for with the weight loss. I just, everybody tells you once you lose the weight, everything's going to be great. Life's going to be awesome. This, that, and the other. And we weren't really expecting the mental stuff to hit. And like I said, getting diagnosed with, PTSD, body dysmorphia, some personality issues, because it apparently fractures your brain. And it's a lot of the separation sort of, and I want to say this because I hate this, but the type of PTSD that's affecting my brain is sort of like combat PTSD, where you can't, your two halves of your brain have a hard time, communicating. And so it's the same sort of PTSD, but it's not combat related. It's trauma related. So it's just, that's what I was dealing with. And so I'll be honest with you, if somebody could wave a magic wand and fixed all my mental health issues that I work on every day, but I'd have to lose the 400 pounds again, I'd lose the weight again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I do it because, the weight, I'd know, hey, I can get this off in 2 years. I know what to do. But man, the mental health stuff's weird. I mean, it doesn't take, I hadn't had a PTSD episode what I consider my PTSD episodes personally
Mm-hmm.
in probably 2 months, a bad one.
Yeah.
That 5 minutes into that doctor's appointment on the 19th, I was full blown. Like I was literally sitting in his office burning.
Mm.
Like if we hadn't have gotten out of there as quick as we did, he there it wouldn't have been pretty. Because like I said, that was the first time I'd been that hot, and I feel bad because with mine, there's always the blow up, there's the anger, and then I have shame. I have shame for 2 days afterwards because nobody's exempt when I'm that worked up. And you hate saying, hey, I can't control this because I am literally trying to keep it under control. Like it's all I can do to just keep from just hulking out.
Did you ever see the movie Stutz? I talked about this on my last episode. Did you ever see that movie?
That is on my list, but that's on Netflix. And funny story, our Netflix account got hacked, and we ended up shutting it down, and we haven't re-upped yet. So,
well, in the whole movie's great. And when I was in Nashville, my friend Kathy, that's on the bug, that's commenting on here, I was watching the movie with her as well, and I've seen it at least 6 times since November. And one of the things that he talks about is the 3 steps. Like the foundation is taking care of your body, and this is like to mental health, and then you taking care of your relationship with others, and then taking care, and then inevitably your problems with yourself will inevitably take care of themselves, or you'll have the skill set to be able to take care of yourself like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So there's, it's a good movie. It's a good watch. I'd watch that if I were you.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list, and a few people have definitely, when it came out, recommended it. But like I said, that's right around the time. But I'll see where I can find it at.
Oh yeah, no, I love and he's got, and you look at a guy like, and he had an excellent sense of humor as the therapist, and then it was so funny that one of the parts of the episode, Jonah Hill talks about that I want to talk to I want my therapist to give me advice, but he won't. But then my friends who are idiots will give me advice all day, and they're not the ones I want to hear give me advice. So,
yeah, no,
it's just I hate that. It's that is so cliche, and it's so true though. I mean, I've been in counseling before, and I'm not saying that they haven't given good advice, but out of 20 sessions, I maybe get 3 of them where there's solid advice.
I've been pretty happy. My first therapist that I work with seemed to have me figured out within the third or fourth session, and it was crazy how it worked out, and it worked out well. Made me realize a few things, and then of course, like most people in therapy, I got pretty full of myself and thought I had it figured out, and then took 90 days off. And when I came back to it, that therapist had moved on, and I started with another one. And the 2 different styles, the first therapist was great because she gave me all this stuff to think about and do and whatnot, and analyze. And then this new therapist, typically I self-analyze. Like if I've got a problem, I'll start writing stuff down. I'll go into self-analyzation mode. And a lot of times our session is just letting me, dump that self-analyzation out. And in the course of, spewing out what I've gone through that week or how I've worked through a situation in those 2 weeks, I'm like, I have that aha moment just while I'm downloading to her. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, there's my problem fixed. So
remember what you were telling me off the phone, and I hope my dad's listening to this right now, about your therapist saying that you need to have at least 2 advices. Could you explain that, please? I've been wanting to ask you that the whole time.
So I was going to quit energy drinks. Like it was it was like winter of 2020. And my goal was to lose 400 pounds. And that last 20 pounds, it took me from September of 2020 till December to lose that last 20 pounds. And I've never thought I'd be a good weight loss coach for anybody, but man, I've got all the stages of it. I know what it takes to lose 400 pounds. I know what it takes to lose 300. I know what it takes to lose 200. I know what it takes to squeak out that last 20. And that last 20 took 6 months. And I ate meat and drank water. Like I went straight carnivore for 6 months. And I had my energy drinks. And I told my doctor and my therapist, like, I really think I want to quit energy drinks right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? I'm like, well, I know they're not good for you. I want to lose this last 20 pounds. I want to work on my discipline, and by this point, man, full PTSD, like, and I'm so regimented, so black and white. There's no gray. There's no this. There's no that. And she told me, she goes, as long as doc thinks they're okay. And, if I have one energy drink in the morning, like that's my freebie. And then I got to drink a half gallon of water if I want another one. And there's days I can drink 2 gallons of water. I mean, because 40-ounce cup, I take 3 or 4 swallows of it and it's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
Right. That's a pretty Frank Castle size amount.
Yeah, I gotta drink it up. And
that's a Frank Castle size amount, baby.
Well, yeah, because I got big hands too, so it's a big cup.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it. No, you know what? I mean, how do we get into these habits that we enjoy them? That's the thing, like some habits, like, I don't know. I mean, I admire the man, somebody who somebody actually enjoys eating clean and somebody that enjoys exercising. Maybe I haven't done any of them long enough to actually give it a chance to be enjoyable.
Well, like I said, with the way I do with the high protein and stuff like that, it's just get it through your head. You can eat all the meat you want to. I mean, and as long as you're okay with that, and there's different ways to cook it, and there's different ways to prepare it, and figure out different ways to cook green vegetables. But my main thing now is I eat to fuel. I mean, I try to enjoy the meals as much as I can, but at the end of the day, it's mainly just about getting food in.
Yeah.
And that's just where I had to go with it.
I mean, there are some things that I could do better. I mean, I wish that, there's some things I wish I could do better. I wish that, well, right now I'm not able to be on my own right now because of the circumstance. I told you about it when my place burnt down back in March and I had to start over with my equipment.
Oh yeah.
Got, 5 months ago. And now I'm a little bit tighter space. I have to be around like 3 other people that you have to kind of be one accord with, so to speak. And it's just, I can't imagine just not, doing anything else but eating dirty right now.
Right.
And I'm not making excuses. I could do it. I mean, I could lock myself in my room and I could go to the grocery store, go get turkey, deli turkey or Spam or something like that. Even I know those are like the worst things you can eat as far as like deli meat is concerned, but I would drop weight by doing that.
Yeah. Rotisserie chicken's my guy. Like, make sure like some of those stores, their seasoning will have sugar in it. So I always kind of read what they do on it, but I think a rotisserie chicken would probably be better for you than deli meat and Spam.
Man, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to stay away from red meat as much as possible. I had the beginning stages of gout back in October. Have you ever had that?
Man, no, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of different on stuff like that. Like, I'm sure red meat causes it, but I got to also wonder, like, what else in my diet would do that? Because, I mean, everybody says red meat this, red meat that. That's what my diet's been for, solid for 4.5 years. And my last batch of blood tests, my blood is perfect at this point at 44. Like, my cholesterol's been high through this, like just a few points, like 10 points, not 100 points, but like 10. This last time my blood work was done in May, everything was perfect across the board at 45 years old. So, and man, I eat the fat off all the meat I eat. Right. I drink energy drinks daily. I'm not saying that's the energy drinks and stuff, but I also, like I said, with the energy drinks, I followed up with a gallon of water a day. Like, my minimum's a gallon of water. But I don't know, like all this stuff that I had wrong with me, allergies, asthma. I haven't been sick in 4 years. I nursed my worst nursed my wife and daughters when they all three got COVID twice and never got sick. And I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm not saying that I can't get sick. I'm just saying that since 2019, since I had that last little batch of cellulitis, I haven't been sick. And so I just, but I also don't eat processed food. I don't eat sugar. I don't, and in my, when those asthma medications and the allergy medications and all that stuff starts going away, I've had asthma since I was 2. Like steroids, inhalers, asthma since I was 2, and that's gone.
Okay. Yeah, well, and that's good. When all right, my beginning stages, I did quit eating red meat for a while. I did it for like maybe 6 weeks. I quit eating red meat altogether, and they said you could go back to eating like 3 or 4 times a week. But man, I just did not realize that. I couldn't believe that. I mean, like, it was my foot. It was my left foot. I couldn't hardly walk on the bad boy, and I was like, I didn't sprain my ankle. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
You're hurting, but you didn't sprain your ankle. That's what it felt like. I couldn't hardly walk. I couldn't hardly, it was just a really dirty amount of pain in that one foot. And then I had talked to a friend of mine about it who had full blown gout. He says, man, you stop eating that red meat. Don't drink any dry red wine. Cut back on the sugar. So I'm like, okay, no fun then. Got it.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of podcasts and stuff on what's in food. And like I said, my best nutritional advice to people is just pick what you can stick to, pick what you can do, and, do your research and make your own smart decisions.
yeah, that's exactly. And just understand too that life is not fair. Okay.
Oh, no.
Life is not fair. If you eat 2 donuts and I eat 2 donuts and you don't put on weight and I do, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. All these.
I tell myself at this point, at 40, at 40 years old, I almost ended my life because I was too fat.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I've had all the partying enjoyment out of food that I've needed to have. So if I live the next 40 years healthy and I'm here with my family and I don't have health problems,
Mm-hmm.
and I continue doing my flexibility coaching yoga, and, if I just keep that up and can get another 40 or 50 years out of this body, I'll be happy. So I had my party with food. Like,
Yeah.
I had my enjoyment and it almost killed me. Literally almost killed me.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a party. I think it's just a matter of habits. I think it's more
is.
of a habit.
And you can say it's an addiction. I mean, I think my personal opinion, and I'm not a therapist, I'm not a nutritionist. I just think we get that addiction to food and nobody thinks about it, because my way of thinking. So here's how I think about food addiction. And, just think about alcoholics, think about drug addicts, but think of your most favorite dessert in the world. And this is my analogy. So mine was this triple layer chocolate cake from this Italian restaurant my wife worked at. Beautiful, chocolate fudge cake. And imagine you've got one of those sitting in the refrigerator for a birthday party, and you're allowed one serving slice, which is actually, the actual serving slice is tiny. That's all you're allowed to have. But that fridge is going to sit in the refrigerator till it rots. Can it sit there till it rots? Or are you going to be in there 30 minutes later getting another slice, and then another slice, and then another slice? And then at 3 a.m., 3/4 of that cake is gone. And you're like, you know what? If I just get rid of this, it won't be here. And you finish it. That to me is addiction, like food addiction. Because to me, I think if I wasn't addicted to that dessert, that thing could rot and mold in the refrigerator and I wouldn't care. I had my piece for my celebration. And then the rest of it should be able to be thrown away. But no, it's not. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Or better yet, the little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, the 6-pack.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. No, think about food addiction.
Yeah,
if you have one of those sitting there and you're a big guy, you're going to eat 3 of them out of the box. Because, I mean, what's one of those things? I mean, that's 2 bites.
Right.
But half the box is gone. What's the point in leaving them there? Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No. I mean,
And it's in your head. It's in your head. You're sitting in the living room watching TV, and you're like, "There's those little W's."
I wish I had a sound
That's
effect. I wish I had a sound effect for that. Yes, I do. Nope, wrong sound effect. Hold on. What's the? Oh, there we go. There you go.
yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about food addiction, and if you're thinking like, "Hey, this is a problem," or "Is this a problem or not?" I mean, if you sit around and think about those desserts that are sitting there, yeah, or my big thing was stopping and getting a cheeseburger on the way home before I went home and ate dinner, and then eat it in the truck and throw the trash away later, or throw the trash away there at the place.
I never thought about it. My mind is still on the whole the triangle cakes or whatever you want to call it, the Christmas trees.
Christmas tree. It is like, I'm telling you that. And the problem with food addiction is you can't get away from it. Like, you don't have to have alcohol. You don't have to have drugs. You don't have to have cigarettes. You don't have to have those things to live.
No,
but
you
are going to have to put food in your mouth.
Absolutely.
And 90% of the shit that we're sold in America nowadays is just that. It's shit. It's so full of crap that it might as well just be, you might as well just be eating just like, I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to.
Poison.
Like,
give me a bottle of poison.
And I'm not trying to preach, but now even anymore when I try to get like hamburger patties at because that's like, if we're traveling or something and I'm starving, that's a go-to. Like, double burger, order a couple of patties, no bun,
right.
Eat a couple of hamburger patties. And even eating out at fast food places, those patties now are starting to tear my stomach up. Like,
yes. Dude, I had a Wendy's before I got on the air.
So, I mean, I don't know. I just, that's the biggest problem. In when you bring up food addiction, everybody starts laughing. They're like, just don't do this or just don't do that. But I think nowadays, like, our society is one addiction. And so everybody could go through and go, well, that's a problem,
Oh, wow. Let's see if we got some comments here. Okay. Life is full of double standards, but hey, if fitness and having a fantastic body was easy, everybody would do it. Anything good in life takes hard work and discipline and dedication.
I have preached discipline since day one. Shogo, I focused on my discipline with my food, and that has been my driving, because the days that I don't want to work out or the days I don't want to eat right, that's when discipline comes in and says, hey, bud, we're doing this, whether you want to or not. And I tried to work out every single day, because on that app, there's workouts now, dude, that are 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I have 10 minutes for myself. I have 20 minutes for myself.
Yes.
If I can't take 20 minutes to at least get on the floor and stretch, I'm going to waste 20 minutes on TikTok. I'm going to waste 20 minutes so that was what I did in the beginning was, look, I'm going to waste this time. So 20-minute workout, I'll do it. And then I tell you what, you start wanting to do longer workouts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And when it's on your phone, it's hard not to do.
He also said it's also not about the destination necessarily, the value and struggling and the things you learn, life experiences you gain along the way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
He's
Most
right.
Definitely.
He's right. And then, Michael Palmero's on here. I have a lot of breathing problems. Never smoked a day in my life. I started limited mobility disc for DDPY. After 15 minutes, I feel better having to put in the work rather than sitting for 15 minutes. Yeah.
And hey, those limited mobility workouts, they've got, last I knew, there's at least 3 workouts you can do while you're laying in bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the chair workouts, and a lot of yoga is like breathing, like focused breathing. And so that's really helped my lung capacity was, the controlled breathing.
Oh yeah. Real quick, let's see. Enjoying the stream. Thank you, Paul. That's Paul's the one who helped me out. Has been helping me out tremendously with this this setup that I have here.
Thank you, Paul.
He's he's. Let me tell you something. If anybody ever starts a video podcast, you need to go through Ecamm Live. I'm telling you, Ecamm Live has really been the shit. It's been awesome. But what? So what were we saying after? What was? I've lost my train of thought. What were we talking about just for a sec there? I forgot what. I forgot.
Hard work and discipline.
Yeah, that's right.
You were going through some questions and you were going through some questions and comments.
Yes. No, it's absolutely. Oh, got one more comment. Excuse me one sec. All right. Episode 2, but episode 1 doesn't show up under videos. I'm sure you'll get it, Hank. Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Anyway. No, I forgot what I was gonna say though. There was something relating to the discipline that we were talking about. I mean, I will say this though, and this is gonna be my number one phrase I say on almost every episode of my show that I say. Your trauma may not be your fault, but your healing is your responsibility.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I can't, what happened to me or what happened to you or anybody else probably was not your fault. But I can't go back and get revenge or get them to pay me back for the action that happened. I have to take the responsibility is in my hands.
Yep.
That's how it is. Jacob order. But let's see, the back builder workouts are the best. Yeah. You're talking about for the DDP yoga, I'm assuming.
Yep. Jake has been doing DDPY program for 3 or 4 years too, and he's rebuilt himself through it.
I will say this. I was very impressed with what DDP said. He has no cartilage in his back or none of the discs are there. And he built the muscles up in his back to the point that it expanded and kept the pressure off.
Same here.
Yeah. And he was on AEW Dynamite about 2 years ago in his late 60s and got clotheslined outside the ring. I mean, what 68-year-old's going to do that?
Most definitely.
I mean,
I told him if he's going to do another show at 70, I need to walk out and be his bodyguard at that point.
Yes, absolutely. Well, heck, Rob Van Dam just went out a couple days ago, but Rob Van Dam's 50. He's like 20 years younger than DDP, but still. Oh, sorry, my legs are getting stiff here. But
gotcha.
Yeah, that's man. That is another thing. Yeah, I have to. You're lighter than I am now, and I'm 6'2".
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's going to be one of the crazy things about surgery is, if they end up able to do the abdominoplasty and fix the hernia and get all that stuff done, I could potentially wake up from surgery 20 pounds lighter like that. It's hard for me. And then, later on when we go to do the upper, because the upper, I've got a lot of loose skin,
Sure.
I'm not so concerned about arms, but like this part, my chest area, there's a lot. And that'll have to be a separate surgery. But it's going to be weird.
You know what I was just thinking about? You're going to have your tattoos redone.
You know what? Actually, my tattoos look better since I lost weight. And since the only one that's going to be really kind of messed up is my armband. But if I get the right doc, they'll line it up right, and then my tattoo guy will fix them. But yeah, no, everything else kind of got darker and smaller and lays okay. And when they pull it around, it should heal up okay. So
you never would think that from looking at you were the mayor of that town you live in.
Yep.
How long were you the mayor?
2 years, 2018 to 2020.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So wait a second. So you were okay. So yeah, you started all this while you were the mayor.
Yeah, I actually did.
Well, no wonder you were probably not mentally in the right state of mind. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a small town. It was a little part-time job, but there was a lot to it. There's a lot of phone calls. Yeah, it was an experience. The people who step up and do it all the time. I mean, politics wasn't for me.
I mean, it is. I mean, what? How many people? How many people live in that town? It's not that small. It has a mayor.
Five. I think when I was mayor, it was like 550. We have a post office. Right now we have a post office and a brewery.
Joplin's the closest city, you said, right?
Yeah, Webb City and Joplin. Yeah.
Okay, because that's like over 300,000 people, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it's closer to 90,000.
Joplin,
They're like,
Missouri?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's right around 100,000. I could be way wrong, but I think it's around 100,000 during the day, and then I think like the living population's a little bit lower, but it's Joplin's the biggest city.
Mm. Do you work daily in the city you live in now?
No, actually, I've been self-employed since 2015. I have my own welding and fabrication business.
So you're able to work out of your shop there?
Yep, we're actually
Okay.
sitting in where I work right now.
Okay. Because I was about to say, I mean, I would love to really move to a little bit smaller town one day.
Mhm.
Because I know it's like, I mean, I'm from Memphis, man. Things are a little bit different down here than they used to be. You know,
I like. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, after Hurricane Katrina, the city was never the same.
Oh, yeah. We're you drive. I think we're 20 minutes from Joplin,
Okay.
and there's a mall. There's a mall and everything there. And I can't say too much. Our little town of 600 now has got a Dollar General, so we're doing all right.
Well, they do sell groceries at Dollar General, so there you go.
Oh, ours actually has produce section. Our new mayor got a produce section. Like it's small, but we got a little produce section. And when I said we have a brewery, we actually have one of the best breweries in the state. Like it's a small steampunk microbrewery called Beard Engine.
Yeah. I'm still tripping off the fact that you said that it was a part-time job being a mayor.
It was small town. It's small town.
I get it. I mean, maybe if they ever need a sheriff up there, I'll come up there. How's that sound?
Dude, you wouldn't want to be the sheriff around here. I don't even think the sheriffs want to be the sheriff around here. We do a lot of self-policing on our street, so.
Absolutely. No, it's like, I mean, I would if I was in a small town like that, I would literally carry a 6-shooter.
There's a few that do. I don't know. I got a pretty good piece of pipe out here in the garage, and I've kind of got that Quigley down under theory when it comes to those kind of deals. It's never said I didn't know how to use one, just said I never had a need for one.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm drinking. Remember Crystal Light? You know, the lemonade flavors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I got the watermelon flavored one in here. So,
oh, well, that watermelon flavor is either a hit or miss on them.
This one's okay. It's not bad.
All right.
It's not bad. It's not even Crystal Light. It's like Sam's Club, Walmart brand, but I just call it Crystal Light because that's what it was always. The lemon. You remember that the sugar-free lemonade or whatever?
Oh yeah, little packets.
Which is complete BS, of course. You know, that's you can still. You know, I remember when I was on the keto, I drank that stuff for about a week with the keto, and I lost nothing.
Yeah.
So that's complete horse dung.
Man, I tell you, I think in what I've read, and I don't know this for a fact, but if it's hard to lose weight and you find out you're insulin resistant, there's a lot of times that even sugar-free stuff can kick your body into, the same type of reaction off artificial sweeteners as it does with sugar, and sometimes harder.
I didn't know that.
I know. You could be quoting that wrong, but it seems like some of the stuff I've read, like you got to be careful with that artificial stuff because it can trigger your insulin response just as much as because your body goes, hey, this is sweet, or sometimes I think too, it's like, hey, this artificial is actually sweeter than whatever, and I don't know.
About a year and a half ago, I gave up caffeine. So that was my thing. I know I have it in a DC bottle here, but that's just refillable. But I gave up the caffeine addiction. I noticed that when I stopped drinking like those diet sodas and stuff like that too, with the caffeine in, I felt tremendously better. I didn't have headaches. Nothing.
Yeah. I'm not going to mess with my caffeine right now. I'm going to, if I have to do anything to do the healthier thing, I might up my water a little bit, but we're going to keep the caffeine in there.
Yeah. Because I'm not a big drinker or a heavy drinker, should I say, like alcohol is not a vice for me. However, I've got a guy coming on in a few weeks I think he's a head brewer at a distillery, and he's going to be on in a few weeks. And I love a good glass of bourbon and a cigar.
Okay.
The cigar is more my vice than the bourbon.
I got you.
It's
little enjoyments.
Yeah, well, I mean, rumor has it. I'm going to ask him on the show, but he's. I think the whiskey that he's making for is one for Scottie Pippen. So.
Oh, okay.
He says he's going to send me the rye, the bourbon, and the American whiskey before. And I don't know if I'm going to taste all three of them on the air or not, but I'm going to have to do it in like really small quantities on two of them. And then the third one, I'll have a regular size glass. But,
Yeah, I'm a lightweight. Anytime I've ever ordered a drink since I quit,
mm-hmm.
I it just takes me 2 or 3 shots, and I'm like, uh-oh. So
yeah, I was talking to a health specialist back in like 2017 or 16. No, I'm sorry, it's 2006, 2007. And he mentioned that if you're going to drink, vodka's the way to go. Vodka's the way to
yeah,
go. A gin and or a vodka tonic or a vodka soda.
yeah, that's what I drank. So when I first started out, I didn't drink anything for a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think it was right around Memorial Day. I was like, man, I'm gonna get some tequila because clear tequila, bourbon, and vodka were all considered lowish carb. Um, they say bourbon wasn't, but I mean I don't know, but I drank 2 mixed drinks with Tito's vodka that afternoon, and I couldn't finish the second one.
Mm.
And I had, like I said, I hadn't drank in about 3 or 4 months, and I'd been eating low carb keto, and
Yeah.
I guess when you're on keto, like the alcohol goes straight to your liver, and here we go.
Yeah. And beer obviously is the worst thing you could have. And I like a good beer.
Mm-hmm.
Corona's about as domestic as I get, and that's not domestic.
Well, then you need to come visit because Beard Engine over there, he brews traditional English ales, and he's
Yeah.
got some of that. He's got some of that chewy stuff.
Oh, that's right up my alley. We got this.
Yep.
We got Memphis has like almost 10 breweries down here now, something like that. They got this one at Meddlesome Brewery called the Devil's Water, and that stuff is delicious.
Gotcha.
And but if you have 2 of them, you will feel like you had 10. And I learned that the hard way.
Gotcha.
That stuff, I'm telling you, it's stiff for a beer.
Is it more like a beer wine?
I wouldn't even go that far. I don't know what it was it was just so delicious. And then, you get those bar pretzels. Oh, here we are, or excuse me, sure, here I am lusting. I have a problem, as you can see. I need to confront this problem. I'm telling you.
One of the simplest things, like one of the simplest tools anymore, and everybody's got one, but if you want to, like, when I get asked about tracking food and stuff, it's like, weigh in one day, and then from that day till your next weigh in, everything you put across your mouth, take a picture of it, put it in your phone, put it in a file. Just take a picture. It's not for shame. If you're why write everything down and just take a picture? Put it in a file. And if you get on the scale that next week and you don't like what it says, flip through those pictures real quick. Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
the scale don't lie.
Boy, no.
Yeah, although I think I told you this the other day. I have a scale that goes up to like 700 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it can weigh or may even go more than that, 750. I had it weighted on the carpet, and the carpet being on the carpet, it said I'd lost 40 pounds. I was like, no, that's shit. Like, ain't no way I dropped 40 pounds unless I watched a Stephen King movie that scared the crap out of me, literally. But sounds. Oh man, I feel like I hope I didn't piss anybody off when I said that just now. I gotta work. One thing about it, you gotta be careful who you irritate around here, because we are anti-fat shaming around here, though. So we are definitely anti-fat shaming around.
Oh yeah,
because that seems there is. You know what? I don't encourage bullying people that are overweight. I don't encourage them bullying people overweight. I think if, like I said, if the brick's too big to hide, or if your mobility or something is limiting you because of the weight, you'll lose it if you want it bad enough.
That's what it ends up being. I mean, it's you can. Man, I've been known for hard truths. I post them back when I was losing weight and I was in my preaching stage of trying to help everybody out.
Yeah.
I post these things called hard truths, and it's just kind of that slap in the end of the nose because. And anytime I post one of those, it is one of those deals that I told myself 1,000 times, and I didn't use nice language with myself because at the end of the day, like you can depend on other folks and you can do and you can blame and you can this and you can do whatever you want and you can lean on folks, you can lean on programs, you can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, at 3 a.m., when you're standing in front of the refrigerator fighting your food addiction, nobody's going to help you with that. Nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's going to come hold your hand through that. And I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, you just got to stand up and go, I got to do this for me. Because nobody's going to come over and lose that weight for you. I mean, and that's the hard truth in the world.
You know, for me, in any aspect of life, if something comes to the point where I desperately want it or the desire is big enough, it will outpower the negative.
Yeah.
You know, like I keep preaching about this, this podcast. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I've been in radio and stuff like that. And this is the newest part of my journey. And when the place burnt down and I'd lost everything, you name it, I lost everything 5 months ago. 5 months later, here I am. And it really just took sheer will, determination, and desperation to actually get in the direction that I want to go as opposed to the direction that I wanted to run away from.
Yep.
That's the thing about it. I think I think it's a little bit easier to go in the direction that you want to go than it is to run away from the situation. I'm not a therapist. I just want to point that out to anybody at the house.
Nope. And everything I'm saying is just bullshit that I came up with in the last 4.5 years. I mean, just observations and stuff that I yelled at myself.
Raw hard experience.
That's what it is. And like I said, if I ever say anything offensive about weight loss or something that comes across as not PC, I guarantee I've said it to myself, only worse.
You were mentioning the preachy mode. That's the thing about it. When you start getting dramatic results, you just want to tell the world.
I did, and I preached a lot in some of my old posts and stuff. I was like, you've got to. And for about a few months, I was like that. And then I kind of shifted gears and I thought, you know what? How about I just say this is what worked for me or this is what I did?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it came across as less preachy and more helpful. And just because I flipped a switch and quit eating sugar and have done this nutrition way the way I have, it doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. It's not.
No,
it's not. It's just not going to work for everybody. I mean, and so that's why, my post now is not, you have to. It's, this is what I did. This is what I've continued to do. I tried this with my mental health. That shit didn't work. Or I tried, this type of exercise that didn't work. It's more of just like throwing my experience out there, and then, like I said, along the way, if I've got one of those hard truths that's just been smacking me in the nose, I'll share that, because I know that it helped me. And if it helps one other person, and I hate to be that way, but there's too much kumbaya nowadays and not enough tough love, I think.
Yeah, I agree. As long as the tough love is coming somebody with experience.
As long as it's constructive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, constructive, and you don't want to hurt anybody mentally to the point that it breaks them down.
Nope.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I mean, I get it,
And when I started my mental health therapy, like I said, that's when I quit being so preachy, because I started realizing that, man, there's got to be some grace in there, but it's like the whole carrot and the stick, man. This whole weight loss thing is carrot and stick. I mean, you've got to have a goal, but you're not going to get there just by being friendly the whole way. Like, you're going to have to drive yourself. Like, the days you go to a party or better yet, the day you go to a family dinner and grandma's made your favorite pie. You know what I mean? Like,
You got to turn it down.
yeah, I mean, and that's the stick days. I mean, the carrot days are the days that you get invited to the performance center to do a workout with DDP. You know, those are the carrot days. Or, you know, a year later, I take and do a road trip with my buddy Travis Mahaffey over at shamrockfitness.org. St. Shamrock and Savage. We've got a whole sideshow going, and we get invited down to the performance center in Georgia a second time. You know what I mean? So I've got pictures. We got invited in 2021 in December to work out personally with Dallas and his wife in the basement at his crib.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are the carrots. So yeah, I don't get to eat all this stuff. That's fine, but there's carrots. I'm here for my family. I get to enjoy time with my daughters. We've gone on family vacations. We went to Chicago last year for a meetup with some other DDPY people, and two of my contest winners from 2020. We got to see my boy Scotty's band play. I would never have done that if I hadn't lost the weight. So yeah, my food's restrictive and I have to work out, but I'm living.
The juice is worth the squeeze.
1,000%.
I can't imagine. Hey, I know we're going to talk again. We're going to talk again in a few months.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk again in a few months. Let's wrap it up, man. Is there anything you want to promote or talk about?
I mean, through a lot of this stuff and with the skin surgeries and stuff, if you like the Dobbins gear, Buffalo Skull and stuff, and to keep grinding, we've got these shirts at mustardseedgraphicsllc.com.
Okay.
And then since mental health is such a big deal for me, we've got some more new shirts on there, and I haven't really showed these off, but we designed these since the semicolon lifestyle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The semicolon tattoo and lifestyle. It's suicide awareness victims or survivors.
Okay.
And so if you see somebody with one of those semicolons, it's sort of that.
Okay.
And so I came up with some shirts as, front, semicolon, my story continues.
Okay.
And then keep grinding on the back, because that's been my motto since day one.
Okay.
And then I've also got some shirts that say, have the semicolon, and it actually says, your story is not over, because I figure even the people who don't need, their stories aren't continuing, their supporters and their family, people that want to support other folks, man, just let them know their story's not over.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And I want to talk to you in a few months because, post-surgery.
Hey, man, hopefully by then we're healing up and we've got a new belly going by then.
That's what I'm hoping. Even if it's within, maybe November or something like that. We'll see.
Well, hey, fingers crossed. So that surgeon kind of fell through. So fingers crossed, prayers, vibes, whatever you send up. My case has actually been sent to a plastic surgeon that actually handles my type of cases.
Oh, fantastic.
And so if my insurance and the clinic that I go to and this plastic surgeon can all line up, this guy will be able to fix me to where I won't need any more surgery on the bottom, and I'll look like I'm supposed to. Like, that's what he does for a living.
That's what I'm talking about. Fantastic.
And I've had an estimate for him before, and like the shirts that I sell, all of those proceeds go straight to a surgery. Like, it goes straight to an account for skin removal surgery. So my mother-in-law owns the company that prints them for me. And those shirts, the suicide awareness shirts, I actually print those myself. I go down and help her print those. So each one of those that sells, I'm actually doing the print.
Fantastic.
So, but yeah, that's where we're at. Just trying to get in there to this surgeon, and like I said, this guy can get me taken care of, and so
I love it.
Yeah,
and you and I are going to talk before then anyway.
Oh yeah, sure. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk before then anyway. But I'm gonna end this thing, and then we'll talk afterwards.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Well, everybody, thank you for joining the Hank Russell Invitation. It's been a beautiful hour that we've had, hour and a half. Man, what a great story. We're going to hear more from him in a few months because, gosh, I mean, I'm inspired, and you should be as well. Man, let's end it right now. Hank Russell Invitation out.